The Thunderbirds engage in a rigorous training camp throughout the month of November, one of the organization's most competitive to date, all ahead of their season opener on December 4th. Jake Withers, the team's face-off specialist and star defender, spends his next few weeks at his home in Peterborough, Ontario. He's either training his new dog, Eddie, at the gym or in the box training himself.
Yeah, something that COVID's kind of allowed me to do is like not the most stereotypical, I guess, lacrosse player workout. I mean, when I even going to school for 4 years, I didn't really utilize all the resources they had there. So being able to kind of come in here and kind of get better with the bells and the bars and stuff like that is something that I found very beneficial. The biggest thing I think is flexibility. So a lot of these movements I don't really kill myself with heavy weight, like maxing, especially during, before Wednesday where Mike runs us into the ground, or a Friday, Saturday where we're getting ready for the game. So I can kind of do both and still kind of find that nice center ground where I'm getting that work in and I'm feeling good mentally and physically, but also not being sore for when the opening face-off goes.
Yeah, so this is the Legacy Bowl. So, I mean, you ask anyone that knows anything about lacrosse in Peterborough, they've either watched the game here, if they're old enough, or they've had a tough practice here. So, lots and lots and lots of experiences and memories here for a lot of young lacrosse players in Peterborough. I mean, you probably had John Grant Jr. and all the Evans brothers, Tracy Kluski, all those guys, maybe even John Grant Sr. back in the day, that probably suited up on here at one time. So it's made a little bit of a transformation since then. It used to have big old bleachers on both sides, but it still stays true that it's kind of the spot to be in Peterborough if you want to go out and shoot the ball around with your buddies.
Known for his ability to win draws, he's also known for his gaming ability.
Once I got to high school, I bought an Xbox, and the rest is history. I just would game and game and game. Like, you know how it was like when we were young. We'd go away on weekends.
We'd be chilling. We'd go work out, we'd get lunch, come back. He'd be gone for 6-7 hours. I'm like, I'd watch a movie, maybe take a nap, and he'd still be gaming. So I'd had to like grab him out of his room sometimes. But gee, like if I didn't say anything, he'd play it right to bedtime at like 1-2 a.m. It was crazy.
When I'd come home, I'd literally sit here and play for 6-7 hours a night until my mom would lose it on me.
It's all hand-eye coordination and like face-offs, and he's good at obviously catching, like picking off nuggets and stuff. So I bet it probably helps his game, which is more annoying.
The two former Ohio State Buckeye teammates might not always agree on each other's off-field habits, but there's one thing they can agree on.
Yeah, we can definitely agree on chowder.
It's like a Halifax ritual.
Every time I get here,
if I'm here, I'm getting at least this chowder.
At least a bowl a day, except on game day.
No free ads, but Marriott, the Harbourfront where we stay at there, they have the best clam chowder going. It's not too thick, not too loose. It's nice and creamy. They do tons of meat, and like we just had it. Like we heard it was so good, so we had it a few places. We found out our hotel had the best, which is the most dangerous place to be the best.
It's game over.
There it is.
That's a maritime club.
Is that what it's called?
I just made that up.
What we do. We literally get off the plane, and on our way here, like from the airport, we call ahead, like get chowders ready. So we don't even go to our room, we go to the restaurant and have a chowder.
The chowder will have to wait for veterans Stephen Keogh and Cody Jamieson, both former adversaries in Ontario Junior A lacrosse and teammates at Syracuse University, not to mention longtime teammates with their current organization. The two pay a visit to an Atlantic superstore in Halifax for the store's Feed Nova Scotia project in order to feed the homeless this holiday season.
My dad could eat this every single night.
Perfect.
And
Thank
when
you.
he chose that was the night growing up that we were having pea soup, me and my brother usually tried to skip dinner that night.
He was one of my roommates at Syracuse for a little bit, and you just grow as people and we matured. He's an easygoing guy, and he's always, he likes to throw the chirps around, but you can throw them back at him and he takes them pretty well. And he's just, he's an all-around class act, and he's just a great guy. So,
Partnering within the community has always been a huge thing for us with the Halifax Thunderbirds. We've always looked forward to showing our involvement within the community, trying to be a staple in the community. The amount of people with the pandemic going on, the amount of people that need food and are in desperate need of food, adults and children, unfortunately. So we're just here to raise some awareness, do some shopping, and make a donation on behalf of the Halifax Thunderbirds toward Feed Nova Scotia.
Exactly 48 hours ahead of the opener, team owner and general manager Curt Styres treats the team and staff to a banquet, asking for just one thing in return.
I think it's been like 13 years now I've been involved in the NLL. 11 years as general manager, and in all these years, all the contracts that I've drawn up, not one player asked me what I wanted. So this year, I'm asking you what you're going to do for us.
One of the older guys, been around for a long time, so to help the young guys out, not just on the floor, but just how to be a pro, how to stick around.
Something that maybe when you're younger you don't quite have, you kind of take for granted the opportunity that the NLL really is, and then 2 weeks into training camps, having some conversations but not knowing where I'm going to wind up on a roster is a little bit scary, right? You think it sounds like a cliche, you don't know what you got till it's gone. It's just something, so appreciate you guys bringing me in.
I think they were kind of puzzled at first, but when they could see where I was coming from, I was very impressed with the responses. I said, as a group, you build accomplish that and then some. Surpass your goals that you created with the help with others.
I just want to win another championship and bring it back to Halifax. It's a special feeling, and once you have it, you kind of keep it, and I don't think anyone else deserves it more than everybody here, so thank you.
One, I'll always be prepared. I'll always make sure that you get proper scouting reports, you get good video, you get it in a timely manner. You're all pulling the same way. I'm very impressed with the amount of thought and time that you put into your recipe for the championship run.
We're just so deep. Everybody wants it so bad. They can feel that we have something special going here. We want to have the best team we can.
The clock ticks and the opener draws closer. The Thunderbirds retreat to the dressing room to review film ahead of practice, knowing they can't take their opponents, the Saskatchewan Rush, lightly. The two organizations are quite familiar with one another.
I can think back of my time going up against the Rush, going back to our first championship that I won in the league. They still have a few players on their roster that were there when we beat them for my first championship. We met in the finals another time.
Going back to my rookie year, we had a hard-fought battle with those guys in the championship and came up a little short. Thinking back to that, the last season before COVID too, we had that barn burner that went to double overtime, I think, or whatever the game was. It was probably one of the craziest sports games I've ever had experienced. And
both organizations lead the league in titles won in the past decade with 3. Still fresh in their memories is an overtime defeat in 2020, where the Thunderbirds clawed their way back from a 12-3 deficit, but came up short in overtime.
All the media out there that's kind of putting us as the front runners this year. I'd be lying to you if I said, I don't pay attention to that stuff, because it's impossible to if you have any sort of social media. It's obviously nice to see our peers kind of put us up there and know that we're a special team.
Fighter! Yep.
Who's it gonna be? Yeah, Cage.
I don't know I can't say enough how excited I am to be here with you guys and battling this season. We talked about our goals and expectations last night. Now it's time to put it into play.
With such a deep roster, talented players will find themselves out of the lineup on any given night. For this game, it's defender Nungo Thompson and future Hall of Famer and recent addition, Reese Dutch.
We brought in Dutchie to be one of those guys that pushes over the top. It is really hard. Again, I try to create those personal relationships with guys. So when you have to tell them that they're out, I know it's devastating, especially home opener. It's never something that I like to do. It's probably the worst part of coaching.
I respect the coach's decision. I understand his reasoning. I signed on the squad halfway through training camp. It's the first time it's ever happened to me in my career, but the only way I can react is stay positive and make sure I'm helping the team in any way I can.
Saturday's opener is Every Child Matters Night, where the Thunderbirds will wear special jerseys designed by Curt Styres and longtime Thunderbirds employee Charlie Ragusa. featuring the hands of residential school survivors, also family members of those in the organization. Following practice, Styres has the team listen to messages from the survivors so the team knows who they are playing for.
Yeah, when I called my grandmother to ask her about her having her handprint on the back of our jerseys, it was a little bit emotional for me. Not emotional in the sense that I was crying, but like nervous. I was a little bit scared.
I can't even describe that feeling. That hand was a really big deal to me. When Cody asked me, when my handprint on those jerseys, it's like I'm laying my hand on each one and praying that God will do good work in their life.
We're thinking about it, and I said, well, let's, we're part of the survivors also. I said, well, why not use our survivors? So I went over and asked my mom, and she was kind of surprised that I had asked her about putting her handprint on there. She was kind of surprised and excited at the same time. And I think she got kind of emotional when we had asked her, like the memories that was flowing through her from the past. And I think it means a lot to her, not only to her, but to us too as the children and my children.
For me, it was a surprise when he said, I want your handprint. I said, what's this for? And he said, to recognize you as a survivor. And I said, oh, you're going to recognize me. You're not mad at me for being a survivor.
Saturday's game will be about more than just lacrosse.
Lately it's looking like everything perfect. Out the mud with it, I put the work in. You can find me where that turf is. Pin precision like a surgeon.
The men arrive to the nest, ready for what will no doubt be an emotional battle.
I'm finna go up, I'm aerial. I got the hit stash, got a bracelet for impact. Real tricky, quick to flip a pretty penny to a thick stack, quick stat. Think fast and I talk real. I give a f about how they feel. Me and Zay just dropped the propane and it sounded like mass appeal. For my dog, I'ma ride to the wheels kill. Got his hand on the hammer, so keep it legit. I've been the man with the blueprint. I'm gonna stop till I own every brick. I used to lay out in the line just to feel the world spin on its axis.
Everything appears to be going according to plan until the team's captain, Jamison, leaves the room with head athletic trainer Dan Noble. In a precautionary move, Jamison is taken out of the lineup just minutes before ball drop.
I mean, obviously you lose your captain 5 minutes before the game. It's a tough situation to put a team in.
With Jamison out, Dutch must focus quick as he draws in.
My first thought is worry about Jammer. Guy's the heart and soul of this team, whether it's on the floor or off the floor. So, you really hope that there's nothing serious, but then you got to make sure you're focusing on the game, right? That's his focus. That's everybody's focus. And then you just got to be excited to get out there and compete.
Jamison watches on as the Thunderbirds fall behind early to the Rush. Saskatchewan maintains the lead in the first half, while Halifax nips at their heels. As the half rolls on, the momentum begins to shift, but it's not until halftime that the team regroups and comes back with a new focus, ready to take their spot in the driver's seat.
Dutch. Pass, Dutch looks, shoots, scores! Halifax leads it for the first time tonight. Off the top, oh no, nice job to grab it off the glass by Jackson. Here's Dutch with a shot, he scores!
The late addition to the lineup, Dutch, provides an undeniable spark for the Thunderbirds. As the team's confidence level rises, everyone chips in.
Halifax will go down. Odd man rush, Bell with speed, coming in, scores! Tyson Bell, his first of many. He felt the need for speed, and Halifax have taken the lead. Thunderbirds with it. There's a shot. They score! 11-10. Dutchy with another one.
I think some of these folks might have to be logging on to Fanatics tomorrow, throw their hats onto the field, because that's number 3 for Dutchy.
With a late lead, the Thunderbirds find themselves a man down, and the Rush capitalize.
on the power play. The Rush have tied it. It's 11-11.
All tied up at 11, the two clubs are bound for sudden death overtime for the second time in as many meetings. 10 minutes on the clock. Winner takes all. The margin for error is slim.
Cornwell coming in. A little twister. Rebound. Shot. Warren Hill. Huge save by Hill.
The Rush connect for multiple chances, but Warren Hill stands tall. Hill's saves at one end award his offense with an opportunity to close out the night.
At the end of the arena, Cody, Nunzi, James were all standing there, and Cody was doing this. And then he kept doing this. I was like, oh, you mean shoot high? So I came out and I took his advice, and when you take Cody's advice, you usually do pretty well.
I'd say 9 out of 10 or 24 out of 25 guys on the roster would probably pull it out, make sure we were changing.
I was yelling, no, 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 and then it's, yeah, right? So it's always the way.
I don't think anybody on our team is anything like me, so that's probably why I took that shot. I'm different. This morning, my grandfather texted me and said, no matter what, play like Tom Brady. And he said that because Tom Brady never gets rattled. From the start of the game to the end of the game, he looks cool, calm, and collected. Stay calm, stay even-keeled, and do your best. And play like Tom Brady as much as I can, even though he's way better than me.
The Thunderbirds get redemption and start the season on an incredible high. The team takes their victory lap before heading back to the locker room.
Again, I don't think our greatest game, but a hell of a team effort, right? We talked about composure. We fucking had that. We talked about work ethic. We had that. We talked about not panicking. We had that. Those are some of the things that take to be a championship team, right? That's a very good team down there. Again, we didn't play our best, but we fucking played together. That's even fucking more important, right? 2 game balls, right? I could give this ball to every fucking D guy out there because you guys were fucking outstanding. Outstanding. But when push came to shove and it did break down, there's one guy that saved our bacon a fucking lot.
No, I just wanted to say, like, I think we got a good team here, and like, I think tonight we should take care of ourselves, you know. Like, we got a lot of injuries. Let's go!
The biggest thing for me is just weathering the storm and being as consistent as possible for these guys. And for us to come out and win or make that last second save to preserve a win, I feel like I'm doing my job and just being there to back these guys up.
When you lose your captain 5 minutes before the game, that's a lot for some teams to handle, especially a guy like this guy standing behind you, right? Again, couple guys stepped up. Clark held the game, right? But again, this ball goes to the guy that I said 5 minutes before the game. Dutchie, get ready and do the job.
Yeah, I was battling through injury a lot of the previous couple seasons I was in the league, and it was just nice to be out there, feeling comfortable, getting in the zone again. Shots are falling. It's kind of it's where every old guy wants to be, right? You want to be out there contributing for your team, putting up goals, putting up points, and it's a great feeling.
From watching in the stands, you can see that you guys were at another level fitness-wise, right? You guys, that fourth quarter, that overtime, like, you guys on the ball, getting it, pushing it, they were struggling to even change sometimes. So great job, way to push through it, right? Everybody was tired, you guys pushed through it. Great job, let's celebrate this one and get back to work tomorrow, boys. Birds on 3, 1, 2, 3.
I think it's just a great motivation for our team to just say, yeah, we're here and we're here to stay.
Don't miss episode 3 of Thunderbirds 360, Wednesday, December 15th at 8 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Eastern.